Fashionably late as normal, as usual, I should say. Pardon me for being so late, but um, I actually sent feedback on Grok losing my messages, and so they sent a reply, and so I had to get a screenshot, and I had to get a share link and all that stuff for the conversation, and hopefully it's enough. Later on off stream, I might get a screenshot of the stream where I continue the conversation. Anyways, games from scratch. Unigen 2.21. Okay. Anyways, so um, I don't know if you were here last night, um, but this is actually fine here. What was the last date I mentioned? No, didn't I not put a stupid date on there? I always do. Copy this conversation. Uh, so stupid. Um, yeah. Might end up paying for a Chat GPT Plus, and still, that's still what I preferred rather than Grok. But I am thinking about doing that, but I have to do it soon, or else the money might not be there later to do so. And I'm just contemplating. Now, Dad already paid for Grok, um, so that's why I'm not sure if I don't just want to try to make this work, as it's working. Certainly isn't really what I expected when paying for. How would you change the decision moment? Uh, okay, wait for the next segment. Okay, so this is me. Okay, I guess if I go all the way back up to the top, maybe I didn't set a date. Um, might end up just going all the way to the top. So I didn't actually mention a date, apparently. Can you see the first message I pasted in this conversation? I see. That's not the first message. I'm assuming now that the personal files are actually ingested right when right when I start a new conversation. Okay, so that makes a few things clear. So what was the second message after the above? Yes, the big document. Well, that's okay. So that's another kind of interesting thing here. Here's chapters 15 and 16. Now, I did say that, so I'm not saying that I didn't, but come on. Um, this will tell me something else too. Why can't? There we go. Copy. Uh, this will tell me something else now. But that wasn't my first real query either. The first thing I typed into the new conversation was this as copy pasted. Hmm. So what was the next thing after I pasted that? Let me know once you examine them. First message. Okay, so let me see if that's correct because I still say it's no. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's actually the third thing. There was another message I typed in between the two. Can you find it? There we go. That's right. Yes, that was correct. Finally. How can you um, so how come you weren't able to come up with those the first time I asked? It probably doesn't know, but just ask anyways. It's because your conversation here is quite long and dense, lots of chapters, documents back and forth. When he asked me to recall the first message, the second message I initially did follow the biggest, most obvious blocks I had strongly anchored. He used document dump at the start and the big cleanup paste. Should have been more precise, gone step by step. I mostly ask these types of questions because for me to effectively work with you, I need to know your limitations. And how you process stuff. Okay. Cool. Mostly ask these types of questions because for me it's effective to effectively work with you, I need to know your limitations and how you process stuff. Quite frankly, I'm kind of disappointed. Not because you have limitations, but somehow they seem illogical. Like losing the current messages instead of off the back end, and not being able to not being able to answer specific things, which seems easy to do. I realize you're not a person, but some things don't seem like it should be an issue, even with an LLM. So I understand that these things have limitations, right? But, and frankly, I don't know. I was almost doing better with the free version, if that makes sense. I don't know. I do keep the full conversation history. However, with the new conversation starts, the system don't always retain it, especially if the earlier parts are very long document heavy. The documents you paste at the beginning are treated as background knowledge, can sometimes get prioritized. That's why I initially grabbed the big obvious blocks instead of short. The losing current messages is a real limitation in how platform handles very long threads. Sometimes drops more recent context rather than trimming off the oldest parts. Not logical from user perspective. So yeah, even for an LLM, I don't have a perfect persistent memory across sessions, and I don't have a clean export full history tool. The context gets dense. Offended by the disappointment, it's useful feedback. Um, probably good to continue. Mm. Let's see. And that's another thing. We don't need to set any specific habits, at least not right now, or at least until I identify what I would need. in any case, I guess we can continue with beat 3. I need to get this thing done as soon as possible. Okay, so we have essentially linear. Okay. Okay, so I guess to insert a decision point, I decided that if Karen decided to give Karen 2 choices to either give the generic answer, in which case she goes in normally, or the specific answer, in which case there's some extra flavor text. Ultimately leading to the same outcome. Generic safe answer. She gets in normally routine process. You actually don't need to write out the needs. Once I figure out where a decision point goes and what the choices are, it's all the info I need to write the pages. But I want a little bit of extra choice. So, do I add an extra choice to the safe path, the risky path, or both? And if so, how do what kind of choice does she or the player get? Acknowledged. Since you only need guidance on where to put the extra choice and what kind it should be, not the full beats written out. It rewards the player for noticing the file carving. The risky choice feels more meaningful. 1 to 2 extra pages without building the safe generic path. The safe path up stays short and straightforward. Okay, everything still converges. Could be simple and low. How does Karen react when Violet recognizes her? I need to put my other cushion, the back support thing, back in here. Anyways, let's get back to it. Um, what was I saying? Okay. Hmm. Reaction choice. Oh, think about that. Um, okay, so class, so uh, classically in movies, possibly books. The hero talks to the villain, and the villain full of ego. Wait a sec. No, that's after. That's after. Ooh, I just got a big problem, don't I? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I just realized a big freaking problem, big freaking hole. I just realized I have a big plot hole here. Look in chapter here. I'll ask it if it can tell me. Look in chapter 14 and 15 and tell me if you can figure out this huge plot hole. I'm I'm just it's like sometimes I kind of do this for fun or for not really for fun per se, but to see how it handles it. It's one big stupid hole that I just realized that I did, and so that's gonna set me back even further. Acknowledged. That's right. Yep. It's due to the order. I had to reorder some of the events when I rewrote uh, the beats into chapters. Um, in general, Violet isn't actually a fugitive, but it's implied that she was disposed of by Thorn. So, um, so she shouldn't be dead yet. She shouldn't be dead yet. I wonder if I can simply swap the chapters, make 14 into 15, and 15 the new 14. Chapter originally events were in a different sequence, but rewriting the beats into chapters ends with maximum the bounty. Fix the immediate continuity break while it be shown running your operation, and only after that would we see the confrontation of the werewolf village where Max orders her disposal. The timeline would feel much cleaner if the player sees Violet active and then later returns that Max turned up. And actually, it would still kind of fit. It would fit okay because um, she because of her failure. So yeah, could do that. Could still do that because of her failure. See, it makes her failure here because they actually go in and rescue. But then I would still have to figure out what to do with Violet once they rescued the vacation princesses and the would-be fairy godmothers. Uh, Currently ends with Hubert gathering everyone, making battle plans, which flows directly into chapter 16. If you swap the moment now happened before the world village events might feel odd time-wise. Violet's presumed disposed of by Thorn. Um, think for a second. With chapter 14, they would be making battle plans. Um, Give me some recommendations to fix the continu continuity, please. Okay. Add short bridging beat at the very beginning of chapter 15. New beat 0. After the events of chapter 14, Think of something. Uh, Don't kill a decoy used in illusion. She deliberately went underground. The whole idea is Thorn ends up becoming the leader of the werewolves and joins was hold on. Okay, I'll let that go. The whole idea is Thorn ends up becoming the leader of the werewolves and it joins Max's armies. So, let me think for a moment. I could still swap 14 and 15, but then the making battle plans still uh, could probably still be at the end of chapter 15. If you swap new structure would be current chapter, book, count, scouting, etc. Chapter 15, Max kills Kurt. At its disposal, Thorn becomes leader and joins Max's army. As Hebert gathering everyone in the courtyard, which flows directly in chapter 16. If you swap, the battle planning moment we announced at the end of the new chapter 15 would feel a bit awkward because the werewolves have just joined Max's side and we immediately jump to the good guys making battle plans. Fix the continuity hole cleanly. We see Violet active first. We see later Max turn on her. Thorn becoming leader and joining Max happens before the battle, which is thematically nice. Cons the battle planning scene at the end of chapter 15 might feel out of place after the werewolf scene. Good. Well, I would also need something that suggests that Thorn has actually disposed of her, even if he hasn't. Um, and then we sort of have the problem with the whole converting fairy would-be fairy godmothers, witches, and trapping princesses, vacation and princesses in books in order to marry off to Max's men uh, would be a mute thing because she's doing that for Max. So that's why I still have a little bit of a problem. That's kind of sucks. I guess that's why I'm talking to the AI to help me think through this stuff because, yeah, I might have to insert a whole chapter because maybe she makes a deal with Thorn. But then what she would do is she would just essentially go into hiding. She wouldn't be running the school or nothing. She'd just be gone. Um, I mean, if that's the case, maybe I could rewrite chapter 15 to where she's not running it. They're running it on a schedule, and that she was meant to return. In which case, the personal thing and the files and everything don't have anything to do with anything. If I do it that ways. Thorn is successfully disposed of, so Thorn could be the leader. But Violet is still alive. Becky forgot and actually carrying out Max's big plan converting. Um, this creates motivation logical. Why is she still loyally executing Max's plan right after having tried to kill her? Short bridging beat at the very start of chapter 15 shows Violet survived, but is now operating in revenge mode. Melody escapes Thorn. She returns Frigga. Uh, Max thinks, fine, I'll mention him. Uh, patch. Keep everything as is by one short exchange when the count. Make the plan her leverage. Bridging line. Hmm. Gotta still think of this stuff. It's kind of annoying. Hmm, hmm. Let me see the. Let me look at here. I'm gonna look at this favorites. Let's go to rooms. Let's go into chapter. Okay, let's. What are we looking at? We're looking for chapter 15. Okay, actually, I could have did the text file instead, but that's okay. We'll just. Oh, this is the one with the multiple story beats in there, but that's okay. The battle plans are in 16. battle plans aren't in 15. Oh, actually, let me go ahead and recent. There we go. Chapter 16 is the rescue. Battle plans at the end of that. If I swap 14 and 15, I'll have to account for Violet leaving. And let me see if I can find here. Let me check the oral storyline. Just a moment, please. Open. No, actually, that's right. That's right. Open. Werewolves. Werewolf Saga. There we go. Okay. I'm going to move back, Kurt. Sometime later. Fairy Guy College Violet's grabbing slipped books from the library. She's called to her office. Kurt is sitting in the chair. Drops red hood on the totem near desk. Violet then casts a spell, hands it back to Kurt. Thorin goes and hides out of the village and watches. Back at the castle in the throne room, Max gets a magic mirror call. Barty sitting in his squat throne. General and most of the slaves were rescued by Hubert. Brent, he kills Kurt with the fire. I see. And I actually wrote that incorrectly. I'll have to add a line, I think, in the actual like here. In fact, let's do that right now. Favorites. Let's run this. And all I have to do is actually go back to chapter 14. Here. Price of leadership. Okay. Let me go back to Grok here. Okay. In the camp for after the swap, Violet need a believable reason to leave Fairgod College. No, I don't need to change 16 at all. I don't need to change 16 at all. In fact, I I just realized the end of chapter 14. The reason you couldn't tell that Thorn supposedly disposes of her is because I was writing thinking that I would leave it to the imagination how it happens, because this is an all ages appropriate game, and fantasy comedy to boot, with some serious moments thrown in. So he says anyone who disposes of her gets the totem. Then it says Thorn comes back. I need a new statement or two that would confirm Violet was dead. For Max, and yet still not really showing anyone. Okay. That doesn't have anything to do with 16, but okay. Got it. You're keeping the current chapter order. Tone is okay. Make Max and the player believe Thorn is successfully disposed of, so Thorn can claim the totem. Well, no, she's not going to be alive in chapter 15, but that's still fine. She doesn't have the Red Riding Hood. That's Red Riding Hood. That's Red Scarlet Clover. That's Scarlet Clover sounds kind of dumb when I say it now. It does. Scarlet Clover. I mean, I suppose someone could have a real name like that, but it sounds dumb when I say it. Um, she doesn't have a red riding hood. In fact, I don't know if I ever described what she was wearing at all. So I'm not sure what to. Not sure how to describe her. I mean, I could just he could just take Thorn's word for it, and then he can tell Thorn, "I'm more powerful than Violet, and that if you step out, if you're lying to me, you know it's gonna be worse for you than it was for her." Kind of thing. I could do it like that. That's actually not a bad idea. Some hairpin. It's just like some familiar thing. Some wand. Mm. I think the description, what she has on or is wearing or whatever, can be tabled for right now. It just seems a bit at. I think, though, what I'll do is
Well, maybe not. Maybe what I'll do is, yeah, maybe.
Um, I'm just trying for an easy out here so I can get on with the other part. So basically, uh, Thorn runs in after her and then returns and tells Max it's done. So Max is going to say something like, "You better not be lying to me. I'm more powerful than Violet ever was, and if you if if you if I find out you were lying, it will be worse for you than supposedly what you did to her." Um, I'll write it as a short event, but this is the gist of what happens. Max doesn't really need proof because everyone's afraid of him. Acknowledged. You want simple, easy outpicks the Enchanted. Thorn chases after Violet. You return shortly after. Thorn tells Max it's done. Max gives a short, curt, threatening response along the lines of, "You better not be lying to me, I'm more powerful." Max doesn't demand physical proof because everyone's afraid of him. He just hands over the totem and accepts Thorn's word. Keeps it vague, all he is appropriate and low effort. Uh, okay. So yeah, this is the basics. I'll modify the text here in a few minutes. So going back to the poll here, um, here, um, there's something I didn't consider that actually makes this work correctly. I did I didn't have any text or give any thought as to what happens to Violet after they go in to rescue everyone else. So, how it goes down is um now here after going to the werewolf village you confront her and create about red, goes fine, runs in the forest, or comes back. Thorn runs after her and then comes back telling Max it's done. Max warns Thorn he better not be lying. And then, as it won't be very good for him if he is. Before giving him the totem, he says you only give it back if you give it. Okay, so that just kind of fixes that. I'll save data. Okay, clear that out. Okay, so that just that works here for that. Okay, so what was the next thing? Dead Riding Hood? No. Suspicious absence. Magic Miracle. Max finds out John and Roland and most of the slaves were rescued. Max, being suspicious of Red's long absence, asks Marty to go and find out what happened. Traveling around the perimeter, scrap of cloth. The turret eventually runs its thorn. It's cursing him to get rid of Wrath and his followers. He seemed visibly altered and posited only strong magic could do this. Barty then proceeds to go to the village. Okay, so it goes into the village. Let's see what happens there. Because I don't remember. After sneaking around, two clues mentioned. Someone over. Is that Kurt had apparently left and came back at some point. Suspicions were right. And find evidence of Fairy God College. Okay, so he goes back to Fairy God College at this point. Thinking. Filing cabinet behind the folders is red. He goes back to Max. Now, let's go the price of leadership. Okay, so after a while, Barty returns to Max, gives him Red's hood, tells him it was in Violet's possession. After going to the Royal Village, Violet, he confronts her and Kurt about Red. He kills Kurt. Okay. And then, of course, this is all right. So this is an extra in here. Let's rewrite this slightly. Max returns to Fairy God College and confronts Violet. Then they head to the werewolf village. Werewolf village. Um, Honestly, it should be on a new line, but that's not really. It's not going to hurt anything. Whatever. Uh, so at the werewolf village. he confronts Kurt. And when Kurt starts to run, he kills Kurt with a fireball. Okay, so we're gonna save this. Okay. All right. So, okay, Control S, save room data. Let's actually open this back up. I'm gonna go ahead. This is actually kind of especially long deal. I don't know if it's too long, but I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna worry about it. Like I said, at first I was kind of worried about keeping everything on one page, but I only have to worry about the narrative pass, right? I mean, I don't have to even worry about it if I don't want to. I can make it scroll. I can allow it to scroll, and it would be fine. Although, what I might do is I might still try to keep the story beat in like a single paragraph or a single page, so that it doesn't expand. So it does. So you don't have to scroll. Scroll bars are already built in, so I don't have to program that. But at the same time, I kind of wanted just to be able to you be able to scan it at a glance. So we're just gonna leave this, and if there's a problem, I'll fix it when I get to it. When I get to the narrative pass, um, might even fix it once I get the event pass completely done and ready to upload. I might go through and test each of the pages to make sure that they're only on a single page or whatever, and then rewrite it if I need to. Um, okay, so Control C, okay, save room data. Control S, make sure everything's saved. Let's go back to, and it's almost 1, so it's almost time up for this session. So the basics, modify the text here, going back to the whole, something I didn't consider, actually, I didn't have any text. What happens to Violet after the rescue? Okay. Acknowledged, pothole isn't actually as big as seam. Okay. Okay, so here's the end of chapter 14. A little long, but at this point shouldn't really matter that much. I'll check later to make sure everything is on a single screen. Um, okay. Uh-oh. Retry. I mean, I shouldn't have gotten that long this time. I mean, it shouldn't be that long. Maybe it is, though. Maybe it has to do with the number of messages. Because maybe, um, anyways. Max confronts Violet. She runs in the forest. Thorn chases after, comes back, and says it's done. Max believes her and gives Thorn the totem. Um, yeah. uh, I like this because I am going to swap 14 and 15. What it means is that Max comes in the middle. Basically, after the count goes back to the back goes back to bats. Uh, Motel, Bats Motel, Bates Motel, Bats Motel. Uh, to the Bats Motel. Uh, and so when the heroes come to rescue them, Violet is nowhere to be found, which is good for the heroes and neatly fixes the continuity problem. Got it. And even that, I didn't take the AI's whole word for it. In fact, I remembered my plot hole that I just created, or that I created by reordering. It's a continuity error. It's not really a plot hole per se. Acknowledge. Got it. Thanks for clarifying. You're going to swap 14 and 15. That actually solves the continuity issue quite neatly with the adjustment you mentioned. While is running the book trapping operation at Fairy God College, Karen goes in as decoy accounts. Scout's rescue happens in what is now, yeah, chapter 15. Max shows up after the Count has returned to the Bagton Belfry. He confronts Violet Fairy God College. She's still there at that moment, runs into the forest. Thorn chases her. Thorn returns, claims it's done. Max gives a warning threat, and Totem to Thorn whirls from Max's army. When the heroes raid Fairy God College in the new Chapter 14, old Chapter 15, Violet is simply nowhere to be found, which is good for the heroes and feels natural. The player later sees that Max came looking for her right after the rescue operation started. She fled. Thorin claimed he finished her. It explains why Violet isn't present during the rescue without needing extra explanation. See, I didn't actually put what happens to Violet. They go in and they rescue the princesses and the vacation. They're really their vacation fairy godmothers too. They're not actual fairy godmothers. They're tourists. So basically, tourist temporary fairy godmothers and temporary princesses, I guess. Vacation princesses and temporary fairy godmothers. I could say that. Actually, pretty elegant solution with the swap. Um, Want me to help out with the exact transition beats? Um, I don't really need to change all that much, if anything. I will need to definitely swap chapter names and the prefixes for the IDs. That might be a little tedious. Not a lot, but a bit. Especially since I haven't modified chapter 15 yet. I haven't added decision points to chapter 15 yet. Swap the content of 14 15. Update the chapter titles. ID prefixes will be a bit tedious but straightforward. You'll handle the swap yourself. You still need to add decision points to the new chapter 14. Yes, currently content from the old 15. You're mainly focused on getting the swap done first. Well, yeah, the other little thing in the current chapter 15, new 14, is still that extra decision point after doing the risky option. I have an idea about that though, so we'll have to discuss it after my break. So I will come back in a bit. Acknowledged. Got it. You're planning on doing the chapter swapped. Thanks. Okay. So I want to say to anybody that's in here, thank you for watching. And I will see you in an hour. Thank you for watching part 1.